Released on the Super Nintendo in North America and Europe in 1994, with a Japanese release on the Super Famicom in 1995, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The game was developed by Natsume and published by Bandai, with the pair going on to make the other Power Rangers games for the Super Nintendo. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the US equivalent to the Super Sentai show Kyoru Sentai Zyuranger. The game is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game where you select one of the 5 original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as they fight the evil Rita Repulsa's Putty Patrol, as well as avoiding obstacles, and finally fighting a boss monster from the show. Later on, the game becomes a fighter with the player controlling the Ranger's Megazord against the last 2 bosses of the game. The game takes place around the first 40 episodes of the show and, interestingly enough, does not include the Green Ranger Tommy Oliver and his Dragonzord. But, is this game any good? Find out in The Good. As a beat-em-up, the game is very solid. Not Streets of Rage solid, but still fairly good. Basic putties take a single hit to dispatch, and stronger putties require to be hit multiple times in order to be destroyed. As well as that, the player also has to avoid obstacles such as rolling drums, debris, and falling objects, to name a few. A little way into the stage, your chosen ranger will morph into their respective Power Ranger form and continue fighting their way through to the boss. Each Power Ranger also has a bomb attack which can destroy enemies on screen or damage the boss, as well as attacks using their trademarked weapons. The boss fights I also thought were quite fun as well. Each boss has a different pattern, and most of them change their pattern once damaged enough. The game's music fit the stages they belong to, and having the theme play in the last 2 stages made it a much more satisfying experience. The most fun I had with the game would have been the Megazord fight sequences. Unlike a certain other Power Rangers game which turned the Megazord fights into a QuickTime event, these fights featured the Megazord using its trademark Power Sword to fight off the bosses, including a finishing move once you had won. The power bar, which gradually fills as you fight, also enables the Megazord and the enemy to use a special move to damage the opponent. The more you let the bar fill, the more dangerous the attack is. Be careful though, you only have 1 life in the Megazord stages. Thankfully, the game uses a 4-digit passcode system, so you can always replay a Ranger or Megazord stage. Once the game has been completed, the player is given 3 codes which will allow 2 players to play the role of the Megazord and boss monster in a versus match. But there's more to the game than just the good, so with that, we move on to the bad. I found that the moveset of the Rangers were all virtually the same as one another. The only exception to this rule would be Billy the Blue Ranger and Kimberly the Pink Ranger. While each Ranger used the same button combinations to use the same combo, Billy is different as he attacks enemies with a rapid series of punches, or striking them multiple times with his lance, and Kimberly can fire arrows from a bow as a Power Ranger. Other than that, there's no particular advantage to playing one Ranger over the other, as each appear to be as strong as each other. Each Ranger also appears to be a palette swap of Jason the Red Ranger, which makes it a little awkward when playing as Kimberly the Pink Ranger or Trini the Yellow Ranger. The game's lack of multiplayer was another thing I wasn't particularly too keen on. While the problem did get remedied in the game adaptation of the movie, I felt that this game would have been a little more enjoyable for friend. The closest thing to multiplayer you'll get with this game are the codes I mentioned earlier, where player 1 and 2 can fight one another as the Megazord and the boss monster. Outside of that, I don't really have much else to complain about with this game, so with that it's time I give the opinion. At the end of the day, I enjoyed playing the game. If you're a fan of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and you watched the show on TV as a kid during the 90s, I think you'll enjoy this game and I would recommend picking it up. It was a little on the short side as I was able to have the game wrapped up in just under 2 hours, but it's a solid beat 'em up and a game to kill a couple of hours in the afternoon with. Personally, I would definitely choose this game over the recently released Mega Battle, and you can catch that review when it appears at the end of this one. So with that, it's time for my rating. Okay, I'll get it right this time. XX, circle, X. What? If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and our Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review.